Alright, welcome to your first instructional video. So, we're starting with Module 0. Module 0 is basically just teaching you how to learn and turn in assignments in 6th grade science. So, step 1 is to log into Canvas. Step 2 is to click on Modules on the left-hand side, and then click on 0.1 Notes. And then step 3 is to grab a copy of 0.1 Notes from the back table. Alright, now that you have your notes, you will notice that some of the stuff is written in red. So anything that you see in red when we're doing instructional videos is stuff that you need to write down on your notes. So go ahead and pause the video, copy down what's in red, and then once you're ready, press play. Alright, let's go ahead and get started. So, 6th grade science is going to be self-paced. So what this means is that you're going to go at your own pace. So participants, which is you, students, can take the time they need and set their own goals instead of working at a pace of the class or a pace of another student. Right? So have you ever been in a class and the teacher's talking about something that you already learned, you already understand, but you have to sit there and wait until the rest of the class understands? Or have you been in a class and you haven't fully mastered or understood the content yet, but the teacher has to move on to the next activity, but you're not ready? So what self-paced is, it allows you to work at a faster pace if you need to, or work at a slower pace if you need to. You don't have to keep up with the class or keep up with a partner or anything like that. Alright, so we are going to have a daily routine. So the first thing you're going to do is your do now. So you're going to come into class, we're going to do some kind of warm-up together, and you're also going to set goals for that day. So what lessons do you need to work on? Are you ahead of pace? Are you behind? And then after that, y'all are going to start your lessons. You're going to do your lessons for that day, and then we're going to clean up, because some kids are going to be doing some labs and practice activities and things like that. And then lastly is dismissal, and you'll go to your next class. Alright, just a reminder, make sure you're writing down the stuff that's in red. You can pause the video if you need to. Alright, so Canvas and you are going to be besties. So we're going to be using Canvas every day. So this is where you will find most practice, labs, and mastery checks. This is also where you're going to find lessons, instructional videos, just like this one that we're doing that you found here when you clicked on modules. And then you're also going to turn in some classwork, sometimes labs, and you're always going to do your mastery checks through Canvas. Alright, so some of this stuff is going to be done on paper. So where do you find them? So on the back table, you will see folders that are labeled with notes and labs and Frayer models, and that's where you're going to find it. So depending on what your notes are, so this is notes 0.1, there's a tab on a folder that says notes 0.1, and that's where you find your notes. If you're doing a lab titled mass versus weight, you'll see a folder that says lab mass versus weight, and that's where you'll find your paper. And same thing for Frayer model. Alright, so then where do you find these lessons and these instructional videos? So remember I told you to be best friends with Canvas. So in Canvas, you can either click on current model, which is on the home page, or you can click on the module tab that's on the left-hand side. Either one of these will bring you to the module that we're working on. Alright, lesson expectations. So there's going to be some lessons that are called required, some that are called recommended, and some that are called level up. So required ones are required. You have to complete all of these assignments. This is the bare minimum for this class. This is where you're going to get the bulk of your information, the bulk of your practice. And then there's these activities called recommended. And these assignments are highly recommended. They're important, but if you are behind, these activities can be skipped to allow you to get caught up. And then lastly, you have some called level up. And these assignments allow you to go further, allow you to further develop skills or learn deeper about a topic. So this allows us to be self-paced, right? So if a student is, or if you are needing a little bit more time to learn an activity, then you have that time because other students can move on to the recommended and then level up. And if you really understand this information and you've got it and you're moving through, then you get to do the recommended activity, and then you also get to do the level up activity. All right, so this is self-paced, but we got to have some due dates. So everyone's kind of in a general area. So due dates are target due dates. They're guidelines to help keep you on pace and keep you organized. All lessons and assessments must be completed by the end of the unit. So once a unit ends, you can't go back and make up old stuff. All right, so what's in a lesson? So in a lesson, you start with notes, guided notes that you're taking right now, watching an instructional video that you're watching right now. And then you're going to have a practice that applies your notes, or you're going to have a lab that applies your notes. This is where you get to apply what you've learned from the notes and instructional video. And then you'll end it with a mastery check, which will check for understanding. Remember, you need to be writing down what's in red, pause the video if you need to. All right, so these mastery checks. So mastery checks are at the end of a mini lesson, and this is just a little quiz. It just has like 2 to 4 questions, and I'm just checking to see if you understand the information, because you have to understand the information before you can go to the next lesson. So if you do understand it and you pass the mastery check, then you get to continue on to the next lesson. But if you don't pass it, that's okay, because we're going to do these things called revisions. And what the revisions are is it allows for you and me to work together to review this information. So like I said, this allows you to work one-on-one, or if there's a couple other students that are kind of not understanding the information yet, it allows us to work in a small group and need to help you further understand the information. So after we review this information, then you'll get to take another mastery check, and hopefully you pass that, and you'll move on to the next lesson. If you don't pass the second mastery check, then we'll kind of go back and see what's going on. Maybe we didn't take your notes, maybe we need to watch the video again, something like that. All right, that's the end of the first instructional video.